What-o. Thank you so much. OCO and good evening, everyone. I want to thank Sonia for that warm introduction and for all the incredible work you do as president of this tremendous American institution. I want to begin tonight with a story, one that begins nearly 2 centuries ago. In 1835, an unauthorized faction of the Cherokee Nation signed the Treaty of New Echota with the United States government. President Andrew Jackson signed the treaty, and the United States Senate ratified it. The Treaty of New Echota ushered in one of the darkest eras of Cherokee history. Under the terms of the treaty, the Cherokee people were forced to leave their homelands in the southeast United States to make room for settlers. Our ancestors embarked on a forced march west to Indian Territory, or what is now called Oklahoma. Today, history knows this journey as the Trail of Tears. 4,000 Cherokee people, about 1/4 of our population, perished on that journey. That's men, women, and children. But the treaty also contained a clear and unequivocal promise. By signing the document and giving up our homelands, Cherokee Nation was promised a delegate in the United States House of Representatives. In the years that followed, our tribe's focus was, to put it simply, survival. Far from fulfilling its obligation to seat a delegate, the federal government in the early 19th century instead imposed a series of laws and policies that attempted to dissolve our government and our ways of life. These policies were designed to strip Native people of their lands, their languages, and their sovereignty. As the daughter of 2 full-blood first-language Cherokee speakers, I can tell you that those policies did not work. Thank you. Despite the odds, we persevered, we survived, and we are here. This tumultuous period continued until the 1970s, when after decades of struggle, federal Indian policy shifted. The termination era, which is what we called the era when the United States government attempted to politically terminate Indian tribes, ended. Because of centuries of persistence, Indian people successfully ushered in a new era of federal Indian policy called the era of self-determination. And it was then that Cherokee Nation began to truly rebuild. The Cherokee Nation eventually became what it is today, a powerful, dynamic, modern government and the largest Indian tribe in the United States with more than 468,000 citizens. Thank you. And in 2019, we asserted this treaty right to a delegate to the U.S. House of Representatives when Cherokee Nation Principal Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. appointed me to the seat, and our council of the Cherokee Nation unanimously confirmed me. If Cherokee history tells us, thank you, if Cherokee history tells us anything, it is that the Cherokee people are a strong people who persevere despite all odds. Our culture is rich, and our values are the lifeblood of our communities. Our ancestors fought for our way of life because our way of life is precious. We always persist. Today, the Treaty of New Echota remains just as binding as it was on the day it was signed. The President and the Senate have acted. All that remains is that the U.S. House of Representatives to honor the treaty by seating our delegate. Thank you. This story of struggle and resilience is all too common in the American story. The League of Women Voters, of course, was first founded in 1920, just before the ratification of the 19th Amendment. We all know the story of the suffrage movement, but I want to tell you a bit about the role that Native women, and especially Cherokee women, played in advancing the rights of women in our country. If I told you how special Cherokee culture is, you might be surprised to learn that Cherokee women have long been revered. Since time immemorial, the Cherokee Nation has been a matrilineal society. Long before European contact, Cherokee women were heads of their households. Cherokee clans, the traditional way we organized in our communities and our family ties, were passed down through our mothers. Cherokee women have long been leaders and respected as such. Women who made especially great contributions to Cherokee society were bestowed the title of beloved woman. Beloved women were Cherokee warriors, and they were afforded tremendous respect. One of these women, thank you, is especially revered. Her name is Nancy Ward. Her Cherokee name is Teehee. Nancy Ward was born in 1738, and for students of history, you will know that this was a period of growing conflict with settlers who were hungry for native lands. When Nancy Ward was only 17 years old, she and her husband fought in battle, and after her husband died, she led the Cherokee people to victory. Nancy Ward subsequently led the Women's Council and held a seat in the Council of Chiefs, two governing bodies of the Cherokee Nation. She was a powerful political figure long before European women ever earned the right to vote or held political office. You might think of her as someone who was ahead of her time. That really wasn't the case. Cherokee culture has always valued the contributions of women. Nancy Ward was, to be sure, remarkable, but she was also remarkably unremarkable in the sense that Cherokee women have long been powerful decision makers, movers and shakers in our nation. Women like Nancy Ward are the women who made me who I am today. It's because of this long history of strong Cherokee women that in the 20th century, Cherokee women fought alongside other suffragists who fought for the right to vote and for the rights of women in this American society. One of my mentors, the late Wilma Mankiller, or Wilma as I know her, was one of these women. Wilma served as the first woman principal chief of the Cherokee Nation. Wilma's life and legacy are a testament to her relentless spirit and her passion for service. Wilma was born in 1945 in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, which is the capital of the Cherokee Nation. At 11 years old, her family moved to San Francisco, California, as part of the federal government's Indian Relocation Program, a program designed to provide economic opportunities to Native families, but also intended to separate Native people from their communities, their culture, and ways of life. Wilma recognized the injustices around her. The American Indian movement and the women's rights movement influenced her deeply in her formative years and left a lasting impression on her. In 1969, she joined with other American Indian advocates to occupy Alcatraz, which was a nearly two-year This was a nearly two-year-long protest that drew attention to the injustices that Native people faced. After years of organizing in California, she moved back to Cherokee Nation in the 70s. Soon after moving back to the Cherokee Nation, Wilma rolled up her sleeves and led a small Cherokee community of Bell, which is a small rural community without running water, to build a 16-mile water line. But that's just what Cherokee women do. We dive in and we get the job done. Wilma was elected as Deputy Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation, and then she became the Principal Chief in 1983. It is not an overstatement to say that she is almost exclusively responsible for laying the groundwork for our dynamic, modern Cherokee government. Wilma simply had a gift of leadership and of vision. She grew our economy and established sources of revenue to fund our government, and she used those revenues to build health clinics, establish early childhood education programs, and created workforce training initiatives. Wilma's accomplishments earned her many accolades, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and most recently, she appeared on the Quarter and as a Barbie. Which is sold out, by the way. Wilma was influenced by and influenced some of the most important feminist leaders of her time, like Gloria Steinem. She surrounded herself with women who, like her, led with vision and purpose. But more than that, Wilma was a remarkable person. I served as Wilma's intern for many years ago, and she became my lifelong mentor. She taught me many lessons about leadership, and she showed me that women are born leaders. I credit Wilma for encouraging me to attend law school and to start my career right here in Washington, D.C. She wanted me to gain all the experience I could and do like she did, which is one day bring home those skill sets right back to the Cherokee Nation. As I stand here tonight speaking to you all, I have her to thank. I owe a deep gratitude to Cherokee women like Nancy Ward and Wilma, whose legacies live on as testaments to the power of Cherokee women who have a love for their people and their nation. And so tonight, I want you to know that progress is not always about advancing a new era that we've never before known. If we look to Cherokee culture and many other indigenous cultures to this continent, you'll see that these values are not new. We need only look to Native traditions, ones that empower women rather than devalue women, to guide us as we look ahead to the next century. Over the last century, the League of Women Voters has worked to bring more people in and ensure that every American has a seat at the table. This organization has stood at the forefront of the effort to protect voting rights, inform the public, and ensure that those on the margins of society have an equal opportunity to make their voices heard. I've been proud to partner with the League of Women Voters, not just in my current position, but throughout my life in public service. And during my time on Capitol Hill and working in President Obama's White House, the League of Women Voters has been an incredible partner, working not just to advance the goals we share, but also to fight back against those who seek to limit voter participation and erode our hard-won rights. Throughout it all, we have persevered. We have made progress. In recent years, we've seen more Native Americans elected to Congress, and we saw the first Native American woman, Deb Haaland, confirmed to serve as a cabinet secretary. And an historic number of Native women are now serving as federal judges. 7 Indigenous women have been confirmed by the U.S. Senate to hold federal judgeships. Yet, for all the progress we have made, we know that there is still much to do. And that's why at the Cherokee Nation, we are continuing to make guideposts of voter participation and civic engagement. Since 2013, Cherokee Nation has registered more than 13,000 voters through our nonpartisan Cherokee Vote Initiative. Our voices matter. Our goal through this initiative is to make our voices heard at every level of government by mobilizing, registering, and working with our citizens, all 468,000 of them across all 50 states. Representation matters. At its very best, thank you, at its very best, government relies on the participation of every citizen, making their voices heard and coming together to chart a better course for the future for all of us. The Cherokee Nation has always believed that this country is stronger when more people have a voice. And the League of Women Voters has been a critical partner in moving towards that better future. As we leave this venue tonight, I hope all of us will recommit ourselves to the work we must do. For me, this starts with ensuring that the federal government honors its promises and seats Cherokee Nation's delegate to the United States House of Representatives. It means ensuring that more and more Americans feel like they have a voice in this country. Native people, women, people of color, and all of those who are on the margins and who have felt left out and felt like they don't have a voice for far too long. Tonight, I am honored for the opportunity to speak with all of you. Tomorrow, though, the fight continues and the struggle remains. In the Cherokee language, we do not have words for goodbye. So we say, don da da go ha'i. So don da da go ha'i until we meet again as we work together to continue this fight for a more equal and just America. Wadon.